Hi folks, we're spending more time on slope. So I just want to remind you what slope is. If you're just talking about how it's labeled in algebra, we use lowercase m. It's also called rate of change. It's also the rise over the run. And it's also, the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, that kind of looks like an x there. That's a y. Y minus y over x minus x. Now we have three types of lines. We have oblique. And for oblique, you could have a line that has a positive slope, meaning m is greater than 0, a negative slope, so this m would be less than 0. Then we have vertical. Vertical is when the slope is undefined. Remember, vertical is straight up and down. The equation is x equals some number. And then we have horizontal. Horizontal, the slope is 0. Horizontal goes with the horizon. That's not a very good line. And then the equation is y equals some number. So if you're given a graph and asked to find the slope of the line, the black graph, you can see that's a horizontal line, so that's a slope of 0. The green graph is a vertical line, so that's a slope of, that's undefined. Undefined is a circle with a slash through it, or you could write out the word undefined. And then purple again, that's a horizontal line, so that's a slope of 0. So when you're looking at the graph of a line and you're asked to find the slope, you could just find two ordered pairs. So here's one, and then here's one, and you could use the slope formula, or you could look at that and determine the rise versus the run. If I look at the rise, I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. So that's -4. And the run is to the right 2 spots. So my slope would be -4 over 2, or just -2. Okay, so you can look at the two ordered pairs or look at the rise and the run. All right, so horizontal line, slope is 0. Vertical line, slope is undefined. Horizontal is like this, vertical is like that. So if you're given ordered pairs, can you easily find the slope? Well, yes, you take y minus y, so 4 minus -5, over -7 minus -7. But let's think about this. This is going to give me 9, and on the bottom, it's going to give me 0. Well, that makes sense. Look at this. The x coordinates are exactly the same. This would be considered an undefined slope. And since the x coordinates are the same, my equation would be x equals -7. So pay attention to the coordinates. If the x's or the y's are the same, then you know what the slope is. So let's skip down to number 3. Look at the y's are the same. When the y's are the same, the slope is 0. If I were to write it out, I'd have 6 minus 6 over -17 minus -8. Well, that gives me 0 on the top. It doesn't matter what's on the bottom because that's going to equal 0. 0 divided by a number is 0. So that would be y equals 6 for the equation. When you look at number 2, though, nothing's the same. -5 minus 5 and -8 minus -4 gives me a slope of -10 over -4. So when I reduce, the negatives cancel, and I get 5/2. Always leaves the slope as a fraction, simplified. So now when you are given a linear equation, how do you know what part is the slope and what part is the y-intercept? Well, it's important to remember slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So the number in front of x is the slope, and the number added on is the y-intercept. So when I look at this equation, I can see that the slope is 2, and the y-intercept is -5. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. And then it would have a rise of 2 and a run of 1 when you have a whole number. Here, what do I do to get y by itself? What I have to divide by 2. So that gives me 2x minus 4. So that means I have a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of -4. For this next one, now I have to add 2x and divide by 4. So now the number in front of x is 1/2, and the y-intercept is 3 when I simplify those. Fractions. First, I'm going to add 1/2 x. So that's gone. Then I'm going to divide by 6. So 1/2 divided by 6 is going to give me, well, first of all, this 6 over 6 is 1. And then 1/2 divided by 6 is really going to be multiplied by the reciprocal. So I would have 1/12. So 1 plus 1/12x. So my slope would be 1/12, and my y-intercept would be 1. So the last part of the assignment is probably the hardest part. Find the value of r so that the line that passes through each pair of points has the given slope. So if I write out the slope formula here, I would take r minus 5 over 6 minus 2 and set it equal to the slope, which is -3. If I simplify here, I'm going to get a 4. So now to solve for r, I have to get that 4 out of the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 4 here and here. So that's going to give these 4's canceling. I'm going to have r minus 5 equals -12. So how do I solve for r? I add 5. So r equals -7. Okay, so the problems are going to include one missing part in the ordered pairs. So when you set it up, you do y minus y, so 8 minus r, over -4 minus -6, and that's going to equal 3/2. So I'm going to rewrite this. 8 minus r over 2 equals 3 over 2. Whenever you have a fraction equal to another fraction, you can just cross multiply to solve. So when I cross multiply here, I get 6. When I cross multiply here, I get 2 times 8 minus r. From there, you got to still solve for r. So the algebra is just the tricky part here. I have 6 equal, when I distribute, I get 16 minus 2r. So I'm going to subtract 16. That would give me -10 equals minus 2r, and then divide by -2. So r is going to equal 5. All right, so you need to go to Delta Math and do the rate of change, finding the slope from a graph, 2 points, equation, and finding the missing part of the slope formula. Okay, so it's the September 18th rate of change assignment. What do we got here? Eggs over easy. I really don't like that. I like scrambled eggs myself. Reach out if you have a question, folks.